who do you have in that division? What do you think? AFC South, Kyle.
When Luck retired, we had this whole debate, and I said, look, I love Frank Reich, and I've learned quickly to never give up on Frank Reich. Frank Reich's entire life has been about being doubted, and yet I said, I got to go with Deshaun Watson. I have to, and I remember Peter Schrager, my cohort, was just shaking his head, and he played he played the whole the Dick Vermeil press conference after Trent Green got hurt, and Dick Vermeil saying, "We will rally behind Kurt Warner," and we did this whole dramatic thing about it. We've seen it before. And I kind of wish I had gone with the Colts that day because it felt good and it felt like the feel-good story. But ultimately, Rich, to answer your question, I just think Deshaun Watson is such a rock star, and I don't think he was great in the playoffs last year. I think he learned from it. I'm going to go as good as the story as the Colts are. I just go with the talent with Deshaun.
Having seen him in person, having personally eyeballed him, having personally seen his eyeball that was still bloody before the game in London, it's tough to go away from that. But if Brissett is healthy, there's just something that screams in me that maybe Frank Reich and the Colts, and certainly the Colts back in Luck Day and in Peyton Manning's day, just have the Texans' number in the fact that last year, as we all know, Frank Reich went for it in some overtime situation as opposed to playing for the tie rather than he went for the win instead of the tie and ended up getting the loss. Other than that, I mean, the Colts have done the job, including in the playoffs last year, but Watson is truly... he's, I guess, neck and neck with Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers for the MVP. Who is your MVP right now?
Russ is incredible. I mean, Russell Wilson made, I think, one bad play this year, and it was a pick six to Marcus Peters. But other than that, it's fantastic. And I think for a couple things. I think the MVP, you got to have the numbers, you got to win, but also you got to kind of give him that story. Like if you got a story to run behind. Last year Mahomes was the sensation and the future of the league, and I feel like Russ has now been through it, and he outlasted the LOB and the Malcolm Butler, and he's come clean on the other side, and he's playing his best football with Pete Carroll. Like as I'm saying it, I can see this column being written about Russell Wilson, and I think it's him, and I think it's awesome. I mean, I'm completely behind him, and yet, I don't know, it's just something special about this Deshaun Watson. The kick in the eye thing, it's incredible because, we hyped so much last year Mahomes about throwing a no-look pass, and really Watson did his own version of that because he wasn't looking because his eyeball was almost hanging out. Like, that's a more impressive no-look pass in a way, and I know for a fact that you sat with him and you were in the room with him, and you've been around a million of these guys. Does Deshaun Watson not have the it factor in the room?
I mean, please. It really isn't. He's a dream come true for a franchise. And, I recounted the story a little bit yesterday. I started off the Watson chit-chat with the pre-broadcast meeting. Other folks would start we always leave it to Mooch, certainly with coaches, like, so what do you think? What do you got? That sort of thing.
Sure.
I said to Watson, I'm like, I got some questions. Number one, was it the first time a foot ever got through your opening of your face mask of your life? Yes, he answered. I'm like, so then when you reached for your helmet, were you readjusting your helmet? He goes, no, actually I was reaching in to touch my eyeball to see if it was there. I'm like, really? Like you legitimately thought? And the NFL films
it's
caught
like a Saw movie.
You could see like his hand in there, but obviously though, then there's Brady, there's what happened with the Ravens, and the AFC in my mind is still the Patriots.
For more of the Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live, or download the Rich Eisen Show app.